Alright, I'm back with another Destiny 2 video, and I am going to be expanding on the article I wrote today a bit, which was about how Destiny keeps tricking me into buying bad helm upgrades, but I want to expand that to talk about kind of Destiny's larger economic problems, which continue to bother me, and I feel like they're only getting worse season over season. Some of this is seasonal, some of this is kind of issues with the larger game itself in terms of clutter and grind and all that stuff. So I'm going to try and cover a pretty wide range of stuff here. I'll just start with the helm stuff as I'm fresh off this being annoying as of this week. I have mentioned this a few times now, but I am really annoyed that I spent these time limited currencies on two upgrades that are both very bad. And one of the problem is you don't know if they're bad until you buy them, and unless you look up what they do based on someone else who's bought them, and I guess I am proving to be that person for a lot of people, so hopefully you are getting the memo. This one, Rumor Treasure Map, once a week you can get a treasure map your crewmates heard rumors about. What does that mean? What is that description? Why does this not remotely tell you what this does? I don't know, but I had to buy it, and I figured it was good because it was in the last row. It's not. It's terrible. It is a bonus chest that has, it does not cost any currency. So you can save the money from, whatever these other ones cost. You can save your 9 map fragments and 90 treasure coordinates, it's going to be just basic stuff. So you save 5 and 50 because you are only getting this map. This is it. This is the only map you're getting. So it's just a random piece of plunder gear that can be armor, not high stat armor, or weapon. It is not guaranteed to be a deep sight weapon or anything like that. It's just a free map, and you're actually wasting a run because any of the weapon map, the double umbral map, those are both better than that, and you can only do this once a week per account. Trash upgrade. Sorry, I'm very heated about this upgrade. This one, I just found out today. So this increases plundered umbral energy found using treasure maps. Increases it by how much? By 10? By 1? No, it's 1. It's just 1. So this takes it from 3 to 4, which I'm like, okay, I did find out that last week. Someone told me that ahead of time. So I'm like, okay, but at least, I have the double plundered map here. So that'll turn it to 8. No, it makes it 7. Why? No idea. No idea why it would make it 7 instead of 8. But that halves the usefulness of it because that means it would take 12 runs to get a bonus focus from that instead of 6. Very terrible. And then, of course, where is it? Secret compartment. Okay, the first catch crash mission completed each week rewards a weapon with deep sight resonance. What I believe is the case here is this only works once. So the first time you buy this, it will work. After that, it is not working anymore. So we are now on week 2 where you were supposed to get a guaranteed deep sight weapon, and it is not happening. You can only get it, I believe, the first week that you buy this and run a catch crash. So this is just, it's very bad all around. And then obviously people have already commented on the fact that there was no target focusing this season for, you cannot, once a week, you cannot just pick which one of these you're going to get, like the other 2 seasons previously had that. You get a lot more drops, but that just means a lot more reliance on RNG. And of course, this extends all the way back to, where am I going? To Season of the Haunted, where we have cleaned up all the egregore. And last season was almost worse, I would say, because there, in the Crown of Sorrow, there is an entire row that is just utterly useless. So this was all about getting more Vestiges of Dread. This entire row is Vestiges of Dread. And as you know, you were just drowning in these things and almost always at cap unless you were doing literally nothing but running nonstop Nightmare Containment. If you're doing anything else in the game, you had more than this you would ever need. So what that meant is if you didn't know that, you're like, oh, I want more seasonal currency at the beginning of the season, so you buy a couple of these and you realize, wait, I didn't need that. But you can't go back. You can't take it back because this is a timed system. And this is one of the problems is you only get, especially this season, you only get 2 of these a week. So your choices represent, like, are you efficiently farming this week, or did you screw up and you have to push back your most efficient farming path or whatever until the next week? And you can't respec. Like, if there was a way, like, okay, I bought the wrong upgrades, and it's like the seasonal artifact, you can respec which ones you want and reinvest them, which I would absolutely do. You cannot do that with these for whatever reason. So if you make a decision, you are stuck with it. And because of these ridiculously nebulous descriptions, you have no idea what you're getting half the time. And then the other half of the time, the perks are actively broken. This is half of the economy issue. I'm not even going to talk about crafting patterns and drop rates because I'm not going to consider that quite an economy question. But we have larger issues at play here with the amount of currencies and stuff going on in this game. As Destiny tries to be more and more friendly to new players, it is not doing a very good job, in my opinion, of clearing out the extra crap that you no longer need. There are way too many currencies in here. Most of these do not need to be here whatsoever. I cannot believe Rainmaker still exists. I cannot believe Finest Matter Weave still exists. These are things that do not need to exist at all. They need to redo. If the Dreaming City is going to stay, if the moon is going to stay, they need to revamp the costs of things like the Phantasmal Cores and charges of light for starting Blind Well. All this is doing is taking up space in here. And you can get rid of this stuff, but then if you run a random activity, you'll end up getting more of this stuff will drop. So you're just clearing it out constantly. We have really weird situations, like this can't just tell you how many elements you have. This is this weird little box that shows you resonant elements. It used to show you everything, but now there's only one thing. Not a good system there. And there's just so many leftover, like dark fragments. These do not need to exist anymore. It's just a giant pile of junk that they could cut probably 30% of the stuff in here at least. And then, what am I going to do with these freaking You're Always pieces? Like, this is stuff that is left over from these old expansions that needs to be converted into something that's just like Glimmer. One consistent grind of things you do use all the time, too much, is the upgrade module grind. I cannot stand both how much upgrade modules cost. An enhancement core, they cost 5,000 Glimmer each. And unless, I know you don't have to constantly infuse everything for every +1 power upgrade, but if you don't, you just have a pinnacle item just sitting around, or a +1 just sitting around not doing anything, so you might as well do it. This goes back into the entire philosophy that is a larger question of, it is tied to the economy, but I fully believe that Destiny needs to get away from gear power in general. This is a larger issue, and I hoped one that they were going to address in the big Lightfall thing. They said that they were going to be doing some experiments with power level and trying some things over the course of the following year after Lightfall. But for now, we still have this system where you are sinking in upgrade modules for every little thing, and you pull something out of your vault, it's the wrong power level, you gotta find a thing to infuse it into, and I am just sick to death of the entire Infusion system and upgrade module system. One thing I think they have finally gotten right about the economy is I think crafting is in an okay place, honestly, in terms of at least the materials for crafting perks and enhanced perks. They changed it so you don't need any of those sub-elements anymore. That was good. They upped the gain from using a red weapon to 300, and if you just discard it, you get 100 at least from doing that, so you don't feel obligated that you have to do all of those. Ascendant Alloy, there are a good amount of sources from this. It's pretty much master season activity, like Master Wellspring, Master whatever it's called this time, or normal Nightmare Containment could drop this. There's a lot of stuff that drops Ascendant Alloys, so I think that is actually in a pretty good place. My only complaint here is the cap. I mean, it's the cap with all this stuff. The caps are another major issue here that are never addressed. I can't even say how many things I've lost to the Postmaster because of these caps. What I think is not in a good place and has never been in a good place is the Ascendant Shard economy. It is just these two wildly different sources, which is prestiging each vendor once will get you 1, and when you do that, then if you do it more than once, you will not get additional ones. You just get an exotic in its place. People have long complained that it should keep giving you things like that. And so really, the only place, and then conversely, if you are a crazy Grandmaster farmer, you have more of these than you know what to do with because they drop all the time from Grandmasters to the point where people are masterworking exotics they don't even care about just to store them. But no, the percent of the population that farms GMs is incredibly small. I hate, it's so boring. I can't commit to farming GMs just to try and get Ascendant Shards. I think that is a terrible lone avenue to get them. You can get them sometimes from Master, but it's that, and then it's trials, going flawless in trials, and you can get them in wins on a 7-win card, or on drops on a 7-win card, they will also, but like that's literally it. And for years and years, everyone has said there should at least be a chance for shards to drop from raids or dungeons or other activities besides like literally vendor prestiging and then upper level nightfalls and trials. And like there are more than enough sources of alloy. I think that is in a good spot. There are not nearly enough of these, especially when it costs 3 of these to masterwork and exotic. And granted, this is a little better than it used to be because you can at least now change exotic armor affinity by just paying a little bit of money. You don't have to reinvest everything all over again, which is good. But for kind of true build experimentation, for masterworking a lot of armor, this is going to be maybe not fully unobtainable, but like just incredibly rare for the vast majority of the player base. You do also, I forgot, you get 3, I think, per 100 ranks of the season pass. You get 3 once per season from that. So it's not like as terrible as it used to be, maybe, but I still think this is not in the greatest of places, and this should be a more freely available currency, kind of similar to what we see with alloy here. And I think that is not where it needs to be. There are just many economic issues that have been going on for so long that are not addressed, and I think stuff like the seasonal issues are only getting worse in time. I think Season of the Chosen had a pretty good seasonal economy with the little boxes. I'm not remembering. I gotta get this heirloom back. I'm not remember like this was so straightforward. I didn't even need all these because like it wasn't that complicated in terms of like finding stuff and upgrading it. Like okay, more drops. First time you decrypt something, it's deep sight. Additional perk, don't even need that. That's another redundant one in the age of crafting. And like this stuff, I didn't even go for the title this season. I didn't even care. Like this was just not really that important. So like this was fine because it was so bare bones that it just did a couple things right. Like look, you can just get a free deep sight weapon automatically here, and it was also a really good high stat armor farm. That was also something I could do. So that's like the good one, and it's good because it's like 1/3 of the normal total upgrades. So upgrading it was not as big of a pain in the ass as it's been. This stuff is bad, and then we have longer term problems about kind of larger investments in your character that I think also need to be addressed. So that is my rant on the current state of things, and I hope to see. I know like economic changes aren't really flashy and stuff, but I think there are a lot of issues with the time gating, with the kind of grind they're asking people to do, and the accessibility of a lot of things that needs a lot of work. So hopefully we see that addressed in the future. And like, for the love of God, patch this. Like, it's crazy that you're like, oh, we're gonna, reduce damage to daughters. Like, I know that all bugs are different, and like not everything is the same, but like, come on, man. Stuff like this needs to get bumped on the priority list. So I don't even think they mentioned it in like known issues, which is crazy. But anyway, that is my take for now, and we will see what happens in the coming weeks here. So thanks for watching, and I will talk to you soon.